If you are searching for a new job, then you must watch this video because you'll be applying to jobs using your resume. And chances are it's going to go through an applicant tracking system. That's the computerized bot that scans your resume to decide whether or not a human being actually sees it. So today I'm going to teach you the secrets on how to optimize your resume so that you can get past those pesky ATSs. That's applicant tracking system. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's get into some stats, some statistics here. Well, there are over 200 different applicant tracking systems. So annoying. And 72% of resumes that are sent in, that are submitted to jobs, go through said applicant tracking system. And then even worse, 75% of those resumes are immediately disqualified, which means 75% of resumes never get seen by human eyes. So obviously they're not getting interviews, which is why we need to optimize our resumes to get past those pesky bots. Well, first off, you may be asking, what is an applicant tracking system even? So it is a computer system that reviews and scans, like literally it's just like an algorithm, and it scans your resume and it's comparing it to either a job description or sort of a set of standards, qualifications, like check marks, checks and balances sort of things that a recruiter has set for a specific position. And it's just like matching. It literally is like a matching service. So it spits out different, depending on the applicant tracking system. It may spit out a score out of 100, so like 90%, 60%. It may rank the resume, so 1 through 250, depending on how many applications there are. And on average, it spits out 25% of the total applications. So to a human recruiter as their recommendations for who could be a good match for it. So we need to make sure that we are aligning so that we can get in that top 25%. So here are my top 8 tips on how to optimize your resume for the applicant tracking system. The first one is very simple. It's spelling. It's a classic, but it especially applies here because while some humans have some degree of forgiveness, an applicant tracking system does not, because say you took the time to fill your resume in with keywords, for example, management, but you spell it wrong, like forgetting the E between the G and the M, which is a common misspelling of management. So all that hard work, it's gone to waste, as that keyword will not be picked up by the applicant tracking system. So while spelling may seem like a roll your eyes first suggestion, it is key for those keywords to be seen by the applicant tracking system. The second tip is some simple formatting. So we've all seen those beautiful, I love the look of them, gorgeous resumes that are the tables, like you have a nice big thing with your name up there, and you have like the 2 columns where you have your education and then you have your history. You may even have like a pie thing, like a pie graph that shows off some of your experience or day in the life, or you have your skills with those like dots of your expertise in said skills. Yeah, they look beautiful. If just people were reading it, great. But unfortunately, an applicant tracking system has not been designed to read that formatting. So what we risk when we submit something like that is literally nothing gets picked up because the algorithm goes a little haywire. So what we want is simple formatting. Now, I've got your back on this because below I have linked to my resume freebies. It's 2 templates that are aesthetically pleasing. Like I know that they get lots of interviews because they're my 2 most effective templates. So they get through those applicant tracking systems, but they are aesthetically pleasing enough to an eye that when a person reads it, they're very happy. So I got you on that one. Okay, number 3. Tip number 3 is relevant experience. So I want you to focus on talking about the experience that is a match for the job description. And I want you to fill your resume up with that. So, for example, if you are applying to an executive assistant job and they want someone who has managed calendars and Outlook, then make sure that every job where you have managed calendars with Outlook, that you talk about it and also include it in your skill summary. We want to make sure the key responsibilities and skills that they're looking for are reflected in our document. And now this goes beyond just key words. This also goes into key phrases. So manage calendars is more than one word, and it is a key phrase that we want covered. So take a look at job postings and find the ones that are repeated a lot that are indicative of what the job you want does, and figure out how you can showcase that with the experience that you have. Okay, tip number 4. It's a controversial one, and it is use your Word document to submit. Now, many people think that submitting a PDF, and like honestly, this is one of those very, like I said, controversial. There are 2 big parties here. Now, I look to the people who make the ATSs and the people who consult with those software companies that make those applicant tracking systems. And what they tell us is that Word is your best bet. That while there are applicant tracking systems that do well with PDFs, not all do. So use Word, and that I think is your best bet based off of what the experts say. Now, the other thing, the tip number 5 is in your professional experience, I want you to lead with the company name. This is one of those like little tricks because sometimes we lead, well, back in the day, you would lead with what you want to really focus on. So if you wanted to focus on your job title, then that's what you would lead with. You would have your job title and then your company name. However, most applicant tracking systems are designed to look for company name first. So it can get mixed up if you have them the wrong way around. So they're looking for that company name first, which is why you want it first. So company name, dates, job title. That's what most applicant tracking systems are looking for. The 6th tip, there's a lot of tips here, is your job title. So if possible, I want you to use one as close to what they're advertising. And only because there are like so many different ways to say the same thing when it comes to job titles and what you do. And we've seen that. We've seen where certain companies say certain things. I'm going to use recruiter because I was a recruiter, and this is something I had to be cognizant of. There is recruiter, there is sourcer, there is talent acquisition, there is talent attraction. There is so many different ways. So if I was applying to a talent acquisition, I changed my recruiter to that. And that's what I want you to do. Administrative assistant is a common, any sort of customer service, sales. So many positions have slightly different titles. It is okay for you to change yours to reflect what you're applying to, as long as we're not completely saying we're doing something we're not doing. So this also goes for, those like super focused job titles that certain enterprise companies, I'm looking at insurance companies and banks, that are to distinguish you from other areas in the bank. You don't need that on your resume unless you're applying for internal positions, or maybe if you're applying to another bank. But if you're applying outside of it, it just doesn't make sense anymore. So stick to what makes sense to the reader. Okay, so that's tip number 6. Tip number 7 is that summary section. Now, this is your skills summary. And we need this. It goes between your professional profile and your education or your experience, depending on what you have next. And this is just a snapshot of all of those keywords, all of those skills. Now, it's not in a table. You can have some, not columns either. You can have some like tab formatting, or you can have it all together with inserting a bullet point in between each. It's up to you how you do that. But my templates really make it easy for you. It's already done. So you just need to like fill it in. But the applicant tracking system loves these skill summaries. So make sure you include it. Now, the last tip. Number 8, the most important one, keywords. You've heard me mention it throughout this. Now, it all boils down to this, which means I want you to read through the job description and I want you to highlight the skills and I want you to see how often they are listed. For example, if MS Office is only listed once, then just chances are it's not that vital. You could have it in your skill summary, but it's not like I wouldn't stress about it. But if Excel is listed in the summary of the job, the qualifications, and in the responsibilities, yeah, we got to make sure it's in there. And as Excel, not as MS Office Suite, because the keyword will be Excel. So make sure you have the keywords that you see listed over and over again. And if you notice certain patterns, like they use the word analyzed a lot or problem solving a lot, then those sort of words are things you're also going to use. And don't use synonym. In this instance, being repetitive is a good thing. And also notice some interesting words. When I was going through this in the Career Love Academy, someone had brought our attention a job that she really wanted to apply to, and she wanted me to do a confirmation of the keywords. We noticed the word queue used a lot. And that it wasn't a normal word that we saw in our job analysis. So we made sure that we got that in there. So we want to see those words that are repeating. We want to see kind of back to that job title. Are they saying something you have said, but just in a different way? So tweaking that so that we are aligning our keywords with their keywords. So those 8 tips, eight tips are the keys to optimizing your resume with that pesky applicant tracking system. And like I've mentioned, I really think you should download my free resume templates. They are my 2 most popular, most effective. I'm talking 0 interviews to like 10 interviews, like 0 interviews over a year to 10 interviews in like 2 weeks. From using the templates plus the guide, because I give you my 3 steps to writing a resume that wows, and it truly will wow. It'll have your phone ringing off the hook with interview requests. So grab that below. Can't wait to hear how you use it. Until next week, happy job searching, and I'll see you here next week with another training. Hi, I'm Sarah Curto. I'm the career coach for teaching you how to find a job you want by teaching you a new way to job search.